What's up, everybody? I'm Valente, and we are back with Behind Enemy Lines. And this week, we are talking with Sam, who is a Patriots fan. And if you don't know already, Behind Enemy Lines is a series where I talk with an opposing fan of the opposing team of the Saints opponent. And this week is the Patriots. So, um, introduce yourself, Sam, if you like.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk Patriots. I mean, I'm always willing to talk Patriots football, even though they've dragged me through the mud over the last 3 years at this point. It's 4 years actually. It's
I
been,
feel the same
I
way.
mean, it's been rough since our Hall of Fame QBs left us, hasn't it?
Yeah, I, to say the very least, yeah, it's been rough. It's been hard.
Yeah,
Who
I mean,
knows?
there's a lot of interesting similarities between the Patriots and the Saints organizationally. Had
Right.
the stalwart quarterback, elite offenses year in, year out would make the playoffs every year. Obviously, the Patriots much, much more successful than New Orleans, but
Yeah.
it is always really interesting because these were two of the top franchises in football for the last decade before 2020.
Yeah. Um, it's funny because usually, like you said, the offenses were the thing to watch for our teams, and now it's been the defenses. Our
Yeah, I
defenses
mean,
have been top 10. I believe the Patriots were top 10 defense consistently for a while, right?
the Patriots defense 2021 was excellent. 2022 was very good, even though they didn't have cornerbacks. 2023, the season started off pretty strong. They were holding Philadelphia, they were holding Miami, and then they had that masterclass performance against Zach Wilson and the Jets. And then last week, everything seemed to fall apart. Dallas just totally destroyed everything. Gonzalez gets hurt within the first 5 minutes. The very next play, Dak Prescott throws down that sideline to CeeDee Lamb, who's guarded one-on-one with Miles Bryant, who's the worst cornerback. Sean Wade exists, but who's one of the worst cornerbacks in the National Football League. So, yeah, and that's where the floodgates open. They scored a lot of points, and Patriots didn't.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about all the struggles that our teams are facing right now, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get into that talking about our game this upcoming Sunday. So, without further ado, we're going to start with the opening question. What are the keys to success for the Patriots and vice versa the Saints?
Yeah,
I'm going to let you start.
I think that there's absolutely no denying that the key to any game for the New England Patriots at this point is Mac Jones. Because when Mac Jones looks good and plays good, this Patriots team can compete with teams like the Eagles, with teams like the Dolphins, because the defense has been good enough in that sense. But when Mac Jones is a turnover machine, when Mac Jones is frazzled, that is when the Patriots seem to fall apart. That's when they can get blown out of games. When Mac Jones is comfortable in the pocket, when he's making throws, when the Patriots receivers are creating a little bit of separation, that's when Mac Jones is at his that's when the Patriots team is at its best, because I know it's cliche to say it lives and dies with the quarterback, but it's been Jekyll and Hyde for the Patriots this year the in terms of how these games have gone. There's been 3 games and then 1 game in terms of how everything looks. And so maybe not Jekyll and Hyde, but the Patriots played 3 super competitive football games when Mac Jones was playing pretty well. But there were quarters in those games when Mac Jones was playing disastrous football, and the Patriots got behind early. They got behind often, and they couldn't get their way back. And that's how games have been going for the last 3 years. But when Mac Jones is just bad the whole game, they get blown out. If Mac Jones can be consistently taking care of the football, this Patriots offense doesn't need to score 30 points. That's all they need. Just don't give the opposing team great field position. Win the field position battle.
Yeah, I would say you don't have to really worry about that because no matter where we start on the field, our offense has not done anything with it. I thought I finally saw something in the game against the Packers until Derek Carr got injured, and then everything just stopped. And then last week, you started to see a lot more a lot more panic out of the offense when Pete Carmichael literally played the most conservative football you could ever play. You know, I'm pretty sure, you're just an NFL guy. You watch the Bears. The Bears are probably the most conservative offensive team in the NFL. Last week, I just didn't see it. The
Well, I
Saints
think
literally,
part of this for New Orleans last week. I think Derek Carr was playing hurt.
yeah, he was playing hurt. You could see it towards the fourth quarter, but it didn't bother him until the fourth quarter. But either way, he threw 37 passes and completed 23 for only 127 yards. I believe that is Derek Carr's career low by a huge gap in average yards per attempt, which is like I think three. If I saw it right, it was
3.4.
like 3.4. So you're just what's the point of going out and getting Derek Carr if you're going to play like that? What's the point of playing him last week if you're going to play him like that? So, you know, the Saints, they got to find their identity on offense. Obviously, that's something that I might be saying until week 10. Who knows? We might already be looking at the true identity. They probably just suck on offense. But either way,
Yeah,
defensively,
I think the interesting thing, you look at these two quarterbacks, and over the past few years, you've heard Mac Jones get Derek Carr comps all the time. I think
yeah,
it's partially because people don't watch either quarterback, but at the core of things, they are both mainly pocket-oriented quarterbacks that can expand if they absolutely need to,
yeah,
and are accurate but not super rhythmic.
I get what you're
So
saying.
these quarterbacks are not exactly a mirror image, but the offenses definitely have some similarity. The difference is the Saints have explosiveness.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the roster they got, the receivers they got. Michael Thomas has not really ever been explosive, but he's your reliable guy from anywhere between 5 and 12 yards. You got Olave and Rashid Shaheed who got blazing speed and over the top ability. And then you bring in Derek Carr, who has been statistically one of the most accurate deep passers throughout his career, throughout his like the past 10 years. You look at Derek Carr as the guy who's been one of the most accurate deep passers in the league. You know, he's built his entire career off of deep passes, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
and it's a great match for them, and it looked great when he was healthy for the first couple weeks, and then like it was working. They were winning games. It wasn't moving the ball super efficiently, but I don't think we expected this Saints
right.
offense to be a juggernaut. I mean, it was good. It was good enough to win them football games. And then when Carr gets hurt, the wheels fell off.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they brought him in to do. They like last season it was Jameis and Andy Dalton, they just couldn't finish out those games. And you started to see uh, Pete Carmichael open up the playbook a little bit more with Derek Carr. Even if it didn't work, he had the trust in him. It's just
Yeah,
something you didn't see last year.
the Saints went from the single greatest rhythm quarterback in the history of this in the history of the sport in Drew Brees to a plethora of guys who simply aren't rhythmic whatsoever.
Right,
Jameis,
yeah.
not a rhythm guy. Derek Carr is weirdly not a rhythm guy. It just doesn't click for him. Um, Taysom Hill is nothing. Taysom Hill, I don't even know how to
Taysom
describe
Hill's not a
him.
quarterback. We're not going to classify him
I
as
mean,
quarterback. We're just going to call him
he
Taysom.
played quarterback. He started
Yeah.
multiple games.
I
And
don't even think
Bridgewater,
I'd call him a
obviously.
quarterback, though.
I mean, he was the starting quarterback for a few weeks.
Yeah.
My point remains, but like even like the most rhythmic quarterback over the last couple of years for the Saints, it's probably Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. It's pretty awkward, but I miss Teddy as our quarterback. But besides that, I think the key for us is to just figure out where you're going to go on offense because it's not looking good right now. Again, you could let Carr rest if you're not going to let him do anything that Jameis can't do. Like, Jameis has become this scared conservative player, and you're trying to play a Jameis game plan with Derek Carr, and it's not working.
Yeah, and the Patriots are without Matthew Judon, without Christian Gonzalez. That's the two best players on the football team right there. And there's a lot of talent on the injury report for New England. And if the Saints aren't going to be able to take advantage of this with the amount of athleticism they have on the outside with Shaheed and with Olave and with Michael Thomas and with the just sheer amount of talent on this roster going up against a Patriots defense that I don't know if J.C. Jackson's going to play this weekend because he was just acquired on Wednesday. It probably doesn't make a ton of sense, although he is obviously familiar with the system. He's coming back to the organization. It's like a Jamie Collins type thing when he left and came back. Trent Brown left and came back. A bunch of guys, but that's beside the point. The Patriots cornerback situation is not looking good. It could end up being like another Miles Bryant, Sean Wade type performance from the Patriots if they can't get anyone back from the injury report. And then on the edge, Judon is the one that's brought the pressure this year. Uche is great, but Judon has been the main guy. And losing that with the amount, and Barmore's been on the injury report. That's another one of your best football players. It's difficult. It's difficult to win football games when you have that much defensive talent out from a team that's supposed to be an elite defensive unit.
Right. It's going to be a weird battle in the trenches this week without Matthew Judon there. See, Matthew Judon's that much of an impact player to the point where I would say um, it went from, the Patriots probably edging out that side of the battle to now New Orleans should have full control over that because it's shown that Trevor Penning, I'm always going to use him as the example. Trevor Penning started off so bad. He, I think, let up 6 pressures in the first game, and then it went to 4, and then it went to 2, and then last week he let up 0. So we all had this idea that the element was time. That's all he needed. And we're starting to see results out of Trevor Penning now a little bit. And it's going to be a weird battle in the trenches because the defense for New England is depleted, and that's the strong suit of them. And
yeah, I will say though, the Patriots defense, the strength is the depth. Keon White will step in. He will play well. This is a second round rookie who was dynamite in the preseason. He's gigantic.
was he second round?
What?
Was he second round? I thought he was
Second
fourth.
round. Keon White was second round.
Oh,
White was second round. Marte Mapu was third round. And Mapu's another defensive depth piece that I'm a big fan of. And the Patriots obviously have multiple safeties, multiple interior defensive linemen that can get the job done. I think Keon White is going to have his breakout performance regardless of if the Patriots win or lose this game.
yeah. Well, that was the question I had later, so I mean we'll come back to that. But while we're on the topic of injuries, I'm gonna pull up the injury report here, and let's see.
Oh, I haven't even
All right.
mentioned Ramondre Stevenson is on the injury report.
Oh, is that new?
Yes, he was
Okay.
limited at practice on Thursday. He was limited at practice on Wednesday, I believe, as well.
All right. So on the Saints side, we got Juwan Johnson with the calf, has not practiced yet. Lonnie Johnson with hamstring. Andrews Pete with a concussion. That's a little weird. I don't even think he played last week. Ramczyk with a foot, who's limited. Brian Brzee came back from the illness. Paulson Adebo's limited both days. Derek Carr with his AC sprain, still limited. Eric McCoy back to full. Foster Moreau back to full. Jordan Howden full. And Landon Young with limited at hip. And then on the Patriots side, this one gets deep. We got Christian Gonzalez, do not practice.
He's out for the season.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I'm pretty sure he's out for the season.
Yeah, he is.
Judon with the elbow, didn't practice both days. Christian Barmore and Cody Davis, both with knees limited. Trey Flowers, foot, both limited. I do not know how to say this name.
Devon Godchaux.
Okay. Ankle limited, and then Jonathan Jones, same with that. Ty Montgomery's got an illness. Okay. Riley Reef knee limited, Ramondre Stevenson thigh limited, and then Cole Strange limited and Sean Wayne limited. So, is there anything there that stands out that might, I guess, be worse than expected besides Christian Gonzalez?
I mean, think about this for the Patriots. Gonzalez is out. Jonathan Jones has been limited in practice. Jack Jones is out for another few weeks. Marcus Jones is on the IR. That's four corners. That's the four top corners on this football team.
Right.
That's a disaster. Like, nothing else can really be said here. And then Sean Wade's also on the injury report. He's awful, but at least he's a football player. Like, at least he can go out there and be one of the 11 football players. That's about as much as I can say about him. And offensive line depth has also been an issue this year. The Patriots have been forced to start Vidarian Lowe and Antonio Mafi and City So on the offensive lines this year because Riley Reef has been hurt, because Cole Strange hasn't been great. Mike Owenu, who is a stronghold of this offensive line over the last few years, has been an unmitigated disaster this season. The Patriots offensive line has been anything but consistent this year, and it's really made it hard for Ramondre Stevenson, who himself is now injured.
Well, if there's anything about the Saints is that their defensive linemen will feast on weaker offensive lines. So, I'd say the thing that stands out for me is that it's looking a lot better than it did as of yesterday for the Saints because your entire offensive line almost, Ramchek. Obviously, he gets his rest day on Wednesday, so that didn't really scare me until I saw the foot show up. But Andrews Pete with a concussion, I'm pretty sure he's going to be out. The NFL takes concussions a little bit more serious. Let's see who else. Eric McCoy, he's back at full with the knee. And then Landon Young, who's a reserve, who might actually just be scratched for somebody else, like Nick Saliveri or somebody. But I don't know. The worst thing that you could possibly have on this injury report for us is offensive line start to dwindle down, and the injuries start to catch up with them. So hopefully that doesn't get any worse than what it already is. I know Cesar Ruiz is coming back from concussion. I think they just completely took him off the list, but he's back now. It's gonna be a weird battle in the trenches. That's kind of the whole story of this game. Is it's gonna be weird down there because you're gonna see a lot of the reserves come in for both sides.
Yeah, it's not the battle that would have been advertised.
Yeah, that's a little sad and whatnot. I wish it was because I like seeing what our offensive line can do against fully healthy teams. And they just haven't been able to do that since the week 1 game against the Titans.
And I like seeing what the Patriots offense can do when they actually know how to block. So, yeah.
All right. All right. Second question is, what is dream scenario for the Patriots and the Saints?
I mean, I think the dream scenario for the Patriots is that they're able to disrupt Derek Carr in the backfield and force turnovers, force him to get frazzled in the pocket and force turnovers, because this cornerback core is going to get toasted by these Saints receivers. So the more you can take out of their hands and force Derek Carr to make very quick decisions, that's what you need to do for the Patriots this week. And then obviously on the offensive side of the ball, the best case scenario is that Mac Jones has a really good game. I would not put it past him because we've seen Mac Jones have great games before. And I mean, sometimes when he settles into rhythm, he looks really good. Like he's mediocre. Like it's hard to explain without sounding cliche, but sometimes he's good and sometimes he's really bad.
You got his ups and
Anytime,
downs.
I mean, the Patriots could go out there and blow anybody out, but the Patriots could also go out there and get blown out by anyone.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be a blowout at all. If it is, I'd be genuinely surprised by either side. But the dream scenario for me, the Saints, I believe, would be just open up the playbook more than you have. You still got Derek Carr, whether he's hurt or not. He's playing. You cannot restrict him. Otherwise, why are you letting him play? So I guess what I'm saying is just let him cook. That's what you brought him in for. You brought him in to trust, to get a quarterback that you trust, which you haven't had. Let Derek Carr do his thing. And last week they looked very uninspired towards the fourth quarter. I would have been too. I don't blame them, but it's just you can't let that be a reoccurring theme in these games because week 3 it got bad. You were up 17-0, you blew it. Week 4, you just after the first drive you couldn't move the ball. They found you out. So mix it up. You can't just keep it conservative, throwing the short passes. I mean, yes, Alvin Kamara is that guy who can bust a check down for 50 yards, but you just can't keep going back to that.
Yeah, and I
The
think for the
definition
Patriots,
the
and I
definition
think
of
for the
insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah, and I think for the Patriots absolutely want the Saints to be conservative because the moment they get aggressive is the moment that Chris Olave goes for 50-yard touchdown against a cornerback who should be bagging groceries.
It's like that.
It is. I mean, I am not shy in my hatred of the Patriots corner depth.
Makes sense though. I mean, I'd feel this, like I feel the same way, except
I mean,
I was
I would put Miles Bryant and Sean Wade on the FBI watch list.
I feel the same. I used to feel the same way about our corner depth. You know, in the preseason, you get to see all your depth, your backups, your depth, your rookie shine, and they just didn't. And then come regular season, guys like Isaac Yadam, who didn't do so well in preseason, you seen him shine. He leads the NFL in pass deflections, and he's only played 2 games. You know, so I don't know. I think Dennis Allen's a damn good defensive play caller, but head
Absolutely.
coach probably not. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, Dennis Allen was a really good defensive coordinator, and that's probably what he should have stayed doing.
yeah, I don't think he's a good head coach because I don't know if he knows how to separate work and friendships because him and Pete Carmichael, they've been in New Orleans together for close to 9 years together now, I think. So it's probably hard for him to go out and fire someone who's as bad as Pete Carmichael is, but as good of a friend as he might be. I don't know.
And you mentioned
Uh,
Isaac Yadam. Isaac Yadam grew up watching Patriots games. He's from Worcester, Massachusetts. He went to Boston College. So this is a
mm,
homecoming for him.
yeah. Oh yeah, they are in New England too. Yeah. Right. So now we talk positive dream scenario. What's the nightmare scenario?
The nightmare scenario is that the Saints realize that they're playing against a bunch of pizza delivery men at cornerback, and they just dial up deep shots. And Shaheed and Olave, and then Michael Thomas underneath comes through, and they put up 30 points. And Mac Jones throws 3 interceptions again and looks like he has got no idea what he's doing. And at this point, the Bailey Zappi screams are getting louder and louder in the ears of everyone. I mean, if Mac Jones throws an interception, the Zappi chants are going to be starting in New England. They did it last year in the Chicago game. They will do it again, regardless of how bad Bailey Zappi is at football.
Hey, man, I like Bailey Zappi, so I mean, I, I
Well,
don't I don't watch him
you
like
you
that.
like you like him because you haven't had to watch him play quarterback for your team.
I like him because he's from Kentucky, so I mean
Okay,
that's why I
that's
like him.
fair.
Yeah, but
He'll
yeah, I
chop
think
it
our
like him.
nightmare scenario is that they don't realize that they're playing, like you said, pizza delivery guys, because that's just the way Pete Carmichael is. He doesn't like making mistakes, and with that, he'll be conservative. So I mean, he just won't. He won't do. He won't utilize what his offensive weapons are good at. He won't let She go deep. He won't let Olave go deep, and he just won't attack the weakness of a defense. And it's sad, but that's the nightmare scenario, is that you just see Pete Carmichael fall on his face again and again and again, because I want him to do better. I don't know if you saw my name on Twitter, but my name is literally hashtag fire Pete Carmichael, because
Been
that's
there,
how
been
bad.
there.
Exactly, yeah, that's how bad it is
We
for
had
us
Matt
right now.
Patricia calling plays last year.
Yeah, look, it's just bad. That's how it is, and it's going to continue to be my scenario every week. It's gonna have something to do with the offense every week. And this week it's Pete Carmichael. Pete Carmichael needs to learn how to attack weaknesses, because he hasn't. And literally last week all he did was attack Antoine Winfield. Why would you do that? He was feasting that game. And every time he would get aggressive, it was always towards Antoine Winfield. Like, you don't do that. You got I mean, their defensive line last week was very injured. They were missing Kalijah Cansey. Vita Vea was limited in some fashion. Um, so you think your offensive line is going to give you time to throw deep? Why not throw deep more? Why not stretch the field? They just didn't do that. That's the nightmare scenario for me. Is It's going to involve offense every week. This time it's Pete Carmichael. You got to do better. You got to attack the weakness, and I just don't think he will. It it's not even a nightmare scenario. It's really just realistic scenario at that point. But
Yeah, life is a nightmare at times.
yeah, either way. Um, all right, like you mentioned earlier, your breakout would be Keon White. The question is there any breakout candidates for Patriots and Saints? You said Keon White. Um, what was your reasoning for that?
Yeah, Keon White, second round pick, big body. He's going to get a lot of snaps in place of Matthew Judon. He was dynamite in the preseason, stopping the run, getting to the quarterback. This is a guy who has all the tools athletically in his bag. I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar, but I think this is a guy that will always be able to step in and attack an offensive line and attack leverage, know how to win his reps and create pressure on the quarterback.
I see it. I think my breakout would probably have to be. Mm, See, it's kind of hard to say breakout, because all these guys that I'm expecting to have a good game have either flopped or just had the expected game. But I'm going to go with the better than expected route. I'm just going to continue with Isaac Yadam. I
Okay.
believe that Mac Jones is going to want to test him. He thinks that that might be the weak point in the secondary, which it is compared to everyone else. Isaac Yadam is the weak point in the secondary. So I feel like Mac Jones is going to attack him a few times, and it just won't avail. I think Isaac Yadam is really good at capitalizing on the opportunities that he's given, and he's shown it. You
And
know,
he's probably gonna have a big family section there for him.
maybe. But final question and score predictions.
I think we are in for an all-time troll bowl.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
definitely
going
gonna be.
this is going to be like every Patriots game ever, one of the funniest football games to watch, just from every perspective. Nothing logical will happen. The game will finish like 16-12. I'm probably going to pick the Saints because I'm a pessimistic by nature. I'm a pessimist by nature, but yes, like 16-12, 17-16, something stupid like that. Just neither team can get any sort of rhythm going. It's like both offenses are stuck in the mud. The run game is not really working well for either because both of these defenses, because both of these defenses are because the Patriots offense can't get anything going in the run game, and the Patriots defense has been great at stopping the run. Well, at least when it's not against Miami and the first quarter against Philly. But overall, it's just going to be tough to get anything going because these offenses are kind of mirror images of mediocrity.
Yeah.
And if the Saints aren't willing to go deep down the field consistently and beat these cornerbacks, then could be a long day. And I think that the Saints win this game. The X factor plays will be the deep shots that they're going to be able to hit to Olave and Shaheed.
Yeah, I don't think the X Factor plays will won't mean anything because I just don't think Pete Carmichael will even bother to look at that. But I'm gonna say. See, last week I said 18-16 Bucks, and I was horribly wrong, even though they won.
It's
I'm gonna
around the same
go.
number of total points.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. 15-12.
Okay.
15-12 Saints probably.
Yeah, something stupid like that.
Yeah, it's not.
I'd be surprised if either team scores 3 touchdowns.
I'd be surprised if any team scores 2.
2 I could see. 3 is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's probably a
we'll
total
see.
of 3 touchdowns in the game.
Probably, yeah. Anybody out there who likes betting, smacked under.
Now the over under is probably like 24.
Oh, actually, I think I looked at it earlier. If I'm not wrong, I think it's 39.
39? That seems a little high, but I could get down with that.
Yeah, let me see. Let me just make sure. Yeah, 39.5. So, yeah. Obviously, Vegas knows what's going on. Neither of these offenses have been anywhere near good. But with that being said, that's all we got. Sam, if you want to promote anything, go ahead and do that.
I mean, not really. I don't really make much football content anymore, but if you like college basketball, follow me on Twitter at Sam_Federman. A lot of college basketball stuff over there.
All right, that'll be in the description. Thank you for joining me.
I
I appreciate you talking the game with me, and
Go Pats.
hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subs, and yeah, see you next week. Peace.